Despite everything, and after it's all said and done, at the end of the day and the end of my wits, there is the you. Always you. Endlessly you. Sad, miserable, pitiful, tiresome, worthless, center of my world, you. You with your teeth on my heart, you, out of touch, and out of reach. That's not from some classic piece of poetry, it's from an indie game. One that caught me off guard, got under my skin, and hasn't really let go since I played it. The Coffin of Andy and Leyley is, without exaggeration, one of the most uncomfortable games I've ever experienced. Not because it's gory or packed with jump scares, it's just emotionally messy, raw, dark, and somehow weirdly beautiful in a completely messed up kind of way. So how did I stumble on this sick and twisted game? I'm an aspiring game dev, and I want to make a game one day. I haven't made anything yet, but I'm working on a little something. There it is. Finally, okay. Well, there's something. And since I've always loved horror, especially the more atmospheric Lovecraft style stuff, I figured it made sense to dive deeper into what indie horror is doing right now. I'm not really into jump scares or the whole run away from the monster thing. Don't get me wrong, I love a good chase sequence if it's executed properly, like Mr. X from the Resident Evil 2 remake, which again, I will glaze over because that game is a masterclass in level design. I really need to do a video on that, but anyways, I really like when horror kind of lingers and gets under your skin. So I started looking around for games like that, stuff that's disturbing without needing to scream at you every 5 seconds. And one quick Google search later, I landed on the Coffin of Andy and Leyley. It's a story-rich psychological horror game that skips all the typical horror gimmicks, but somehow manages to be way more unsettling. Just a really twisted, emotionally heavy story that absolutely sticks with you. So, the Coffin of Andy and Leyley is developed by Leyley. Hopefully I'm saying that right, I apologize if I'm not. A solo creator with a background in art and narrative experimentation. The game is currently in early access with 3 of the 4 planned episodes released as of April 2025. The final episode is still in development, and I believe a portion of the 3rd episode is also being worked on as well. There's no release date for these yet, but the existing content already offers a substantial experience. I mean, I've already sunk 13 hours in the game just this week. But what sets this game apart is its focus on the characters. It delves into themes like trauma, codependency, and the complexities of sibling relationships pushed to their limits. And Andy and Leyley get absolutely pushed to their limits, so much so that there's incest in the game. Yeah, you heard that right. One of the endings explores how they are more than just siblings. And I'll have you know, I actually had to look up how to get to that ending, so that's good for me, right? That means I'm not completely insane. Curiosity just got the better of me, I'll admit that much. And don't let the pixel art style fool you either. It might give off an innocent appearance, but the narrative explores deeply adult and disturbing themes. And that's the beautiful thing about this game. This is a horror game that is not comfortable. I mean, psychological horror shouldn't be comfortable, and this game is raw and unapologetic, which is a very rare thing these days, especially in the overly sanitized AAA scene, so of course I'm in support of this game. And I mean, many people are, according to the Steam reviews, overwhelmingly positive with almost 30,000 reviews is a massive achievement and very much deserved. But just mentioning that you support this game is enough to stir up the Twitter critters, because yeah, it involves incest, and their pea-brains can't look past that and see the bigger picture. They reduce it to shock value without ever engaging with what the game is actually trying to say. And by the way, it's totally okay to not like this game. I'm talking about people like this who go out of their way and tell people to go harm themselves because they support a video game. And by supporting this game, you automatically support incest. And shooting someone in Call of Duty means I automatically support murder, right? So some of these people, they're just gone. There's no bringing these people back. Just ignore them, and boy oh boy do they lose their minds when you ignore them. But yeah, incest is in there, absolutely, but it's not the point. The narrative goes way deeper than that. It's about trauma, survival, codependency, and how 2 people who are completely broken in their own ways cling to each other in the worst way possible, because they literally have no one else. It's messed up, but it's also trying to say something about the consequences of abuse, of isolation, of growing up in a world where your parents don't take care of you. And it's also just a video game that's kind of dark and kind of funny. And beyond that, the game has genuine craft behind it. The writing is tight, the art direction is striking, and the puzzle design is weirdly creative in a way that actually complements the story. Take this puzzle for example. I spent way too much time trying to do this puzzle. I thought I had to build the moon and then they would combine somehow and bring the stairs together, but no. All you have to do is make them all the full moon and then you can just walk across. I kept trying to do crescent moon, half moon, full moon, and just hoping that the rope would just like squeeze together and connect the stairs. Anyways, I don't know if this is making any sense to you guys. That's just where my head was at the time. But yeah, way too much time on this puzzle. So let's talk about why this game is actually uncomfortable. Because it's not just about being graphic or edgy for the sake of it. It's uncomfortable because it's emotionally intimate in a way that games rarely are. Leyley and Andy's relationship is, yeah, twisted, no denying that. But what caught me off guard was how nuanced and compelling it is. It's not written to be shocking, it's written to be complicated. You're not watching cartoon villains, you're watching 2 damaged people who are stuck together, clinging to each other in this deeply unhealthy but very human way. The game doesn't let you escape that discomfort. There's no fade to black or quick resolution. It sits with you. You're forced to stay in it, to live in it. Some of the dialogue just hits way too close to home, not because it's extreme, but because it feels real, like arguments you've overheard or thoughts you've maybe had in your worst moments. And then the moral choices come in, and none of them feel good. There's no right option, no tidy solution, just damage control, such as Andy and Leyley practicing cannibalism. Now, if worse comes to worse, and I'm starving to death like Andy and Leyley were, and some random person dies, I'd probably eat them. I mean, I hope myself and none of you are ever in a situation like that, but yeah, if it's for survival, I gotta do what I gotta do. Maybe I'm alone here. Let me know in the comments below where you stand on that. If you're starving to death, would you practice cannibalism? Not kill them. Come on, I'm not that crazy. And visually, the game uses a lot of metaphor. There's the coffin within the game's narrative, and these dreamscape segments and broken rooms that feel like they're pulled right from a subconscious that's just unraveling. It's all very intentional. It's not just creepy for the vibes, it's saying something. And this is the part that really stuck with me. The discomfort doesn't come from gore or shock, it comes from recognition. You see parts of yourself in these characters, even if you don't want to. That's what makes it linger. So, if we zoom out a bit, what is this game really about? What's under all the discomfort, all the messed up decisions, and disturbing moments? At its core, the Coffin of Andy and Leyley is about trauma and survival. These characters aren't evil, they're broken. They're the result of parents and environments that failed them over and over again. The game doesn't excuse their actions, but it does ask you to understand where they come from. And that's way harder to sit with than just labeling them as villains. It explores how people cope with abuse, and how sometimes those coping mechanisms get twisted into something harmful, especially when there's no one around to pull you out. When your entire world is pain, you start building your sense of love and connection around that pain. And that's exactly what this game confronts head on. Then there's this theme of control and helplessness. And here's where things get even more uncomfortable, because you're not in control, the characters are. You're not shaping the story as much as you're watching it unravel and maybe nudging it in slightly different directions. That loss of agency, that feeling that you're just along for the ride, is part of what makes it so emotionally heavy. So if I had to boil it down to one question, it's this. What does it mean to love someone in a world that doesn't love you? Because that's what Andy and Leyley are trying to figure out. It's just that their version of love has been warped by everything they've been through. And as messed up as it is, there are moments, quiet, painful moments, where you kind of get it. Now, in terms of development, the Coffin of Andy and Leyley is still in early access. The game's being updated gradually, and there's more on the way, including additional routes, more endings, and polish to mechanics and transitions. So this isn't a finished story yet, it's still evolving. The fan base is honestly pretty active. People are deep into theories about the characters, symbolism, alternate endings, you name it. It's one of those games where players aren't just consuming the story, they're trying to unpack it, and that's always a good sign that something resonated. The developers still post updates and little insights into the narrative direction, and even if they don't share everything outright, it's clear they have a very deliberate vision for where this is going. So if you're interested in that kind of community-driven, slowly unfolding experience, it's worth keeping an eye on. So here's where I land with this one. The Coffin of Andy and Leyley is not a game I recommend to everyone. It's intense, it's raw, and it's going to sit with you in ways that aren't always comfortable. But for the people who connect with it, for the ones willing to dig into the discomfort and look past the surface, it's the kind of game that sticks with you forever. It's a reminder that the indie space isn't just where we mess around with cool mechanics or quirky art styles, it's where we experiment with truth, with discomfort, with raw emotion, and that's powerful. If you've already played it, I'd love to hear how it hit you, what stuck with you, what disturbed you, what made you pause, and if you haven't played it yet, brace yourself. If you enjoy indie spotlights like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe, and go support other indie devs. I'd love to cover more indie games in the future, so please leave any feedback down below. Take excellent care of yourselves, call someone you love, and goodbye!